What up brothers, it's Clipper King returning. Welcome back to my channel for another new review. And as you can see, the figure I'll be reviewing today is the Hot Toys Daredevil from the Netflix series. I'd also like to say I now offer a 4K option, so if you have got a TV or device that is capable of that, then switch over now so you can enjoy the review with a little more detail. Also, if it's the first time visiting my channel, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you have subscribed already, please hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of all my upcoming videos. And finally, before we actually crack on and get into this review, I'd just like to say a big thank you to a Facebook friend of mine called Gary MG for kindly picking this figure up and sending it out to me. I understand that he would like you to be notified that if you are looking for figures and you've exhausted all your other connections, then do try him. You'll find him in my friends list, and I will put a contact in the description box below. So like I said, bear in mind, because he did pick me this figure up and send it out to me in a timely fashion. So that's the intros out of the way. Let's finally crack on to the review proper, get some scores on the doors. Yippee, I can hear you saying, about time. Right, I will start off by saying I do like the overall look of the packaging, although it is pretty poor quality if I'm being honest. The cardboard's not that high a grade, but on the artwork I do like it. The shades of red going into the black. It is a picture of the figure with a nice title work going down. Also below that, a lot of reviewers have mentioned it, the braille effect under there. You feel like you need braille when you're a YouTube reviewer. You're looking through your viewfinder and you're clamoring about for what you're actually looking at, and it's that far back. So yeah, a lot of other reviewers didn't realise what that said. It actually says please subscribe to Uncle Clipper, so thank you for the advertising from them guys. They've all shown it but didn't know what it meant, and that is what it means. That is official. The other thing you're probably noticing is this great fuck off scratched out box. Now, that were not the fault of the guy that sent it, but for whatever reason, Customs or Parcel Force decided that they wanted to look inside this package. The Marvel stuff, as you know, don't normally bring a shipper box. It comes with the plastic wrap. They sort of sliced through that and then scored along the cardboard, which is not pleasurable to mine eye. So there is that there, you'll probably notice it, and yours probably won't have that on it. Another thing, because the grade of cardboard is so flimsy, there is quite a few dings on this one. So if I turn it around, you'll see it's just not stayed in mint condition, the box. So you can expect that when the cardboard's so fine. But all in all, it serves a purpose. It holds the figure really well, like Hot Toys always do. But like I said, the quality is not really up there. Because it is a slipcover, standard style box, I would have given that a 3. I probably will get a 3. It's not Hot Toys' fault that Parcel Force can't fucking carry one thing from A to B. So I'll probably blame them and not the guy who shipped it or Hot Toys in general. So like I say, on the packaging, I give it a 3 and a possible 5. Rolling on to facial likeness. I'll start off by saying I have seen a lot of the critiques of this figure, basically down to the fact that people believe the head to body ratio is wrong, or it's balloon-headed, as some have called it, and that has really turned them against the figure. I will say I do agree with that to an extent, but I don't see the problem as a head sculpt problem, and definitely not a likeness problem. I do see a really good likeness to Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock underneath the Daredevil mask in both portraits or both faceplates, whatever you want to say. I do think the helmet is really well done, the way it catches the light and his sort of eye gloss. How the helmet fits, I do like, and I will demonstrate that shortly. So yeah, what I actually believe is the body is slightly undersized, particularly the width of the shoulders and probably depth of the chest if you're looking at it from the side. If you go back and look at him or stills from the program, you'll see they've put him on like a narrow shouldered body, and I think that's slightly wrong. He should have a fuller, a rounder shoulder or squarer shoulder, and that in turn that would make the head look the right size. But if you were to compare the head sculpt on this to other figures, it is in line quite well. Coming back to what I said about the faceplates, I think they are both really well sculpted, really well painted, as we expect from Hot Toys. Just moving around. The detail on the mask, the sort of weave effect on the sides of the mask, the stubble work, so on and so forth, and even how the eyes sort of catch the light with the LED from the iPad that's bouncing onto it. it does light up really nicely. If you were to tip the head forward, obviously it's not going to pick that up as well, and as you move away you see that light in the eye fades. So I do really like the lightness, like I said, and I do concede that there is a sort of a balloon-headed look about it. Like I said, I can't take the points off the facial likeness for that, so I do like it. Just to show you how the head works, pretty simple. The mask lifts up. Ooh. So basically it works like the Robocop. The mask lifts up. I have to do left-handed, so bear with me. Slides up the peg. The faceplate then pulls out. Swap it to the second plate. It just pushes into position as such, and then you just drop the helmet section back down into place. Make sure it goes right in. Probably not dropped it in tight enough at that, but it's quite hard to do, because you can see. So there you see the sort of angrier head. Again, good likeness, captures the character and the sort of screen accuracy really well, I believe. So regardless which head plate you've got on, like I say, if you can take away the fact that the head is slightly too big for the shoulders, or so I believe, I would still give the facial likeness a 5 and a possible 5. Moving on to the outfit. Again, just show you the pose first. Just kind of got him as if he's on a rooftop, maybe just about to leap off with his billy clubs in his hand. So I've spoke about the helmet, which I really like. Obviously it's a different material, it is a sculpted plastic, and it does catch the light really nicely, particularly on the lenses, as you can see. So that is a nice touch. Moving down, again, it is the outfit from the latter part of Series 2. So slightly different mask, because the earlier mask has a more built up section down the side, and also a notable difference is the gauntlet section is different. It's sort of got a black wrap round on the forearm. This one's slightly sleeker, I would say. That's how I'd describe it. But again, like I said, from the part that it's from, they have captured it really well. The material is a plasticky feeling material, although it feels like it's got the sort of carbon fibre weave on it, or whatever the material is that they use. The straps on the shoulder look really good. The sort of plastic armoured section on the outer part of the shoulder, and then the mixture of the reds or burgundy or maroon, whatever you want to call it, into the blacks. Touch of genius, and probably learnt from the Deadpool mistakes with the gauntlet section. It doesn't move around, or the suit doesn't move around inside the gauntlet. It's pretty much a fixed gauntlet, so you're not rubbing away on the outfit when you're rotating the hand. The sculpted hands, which are quite nicely done, got the sort of knuckle duster effect on them, which is a nice touch again. Then the patchwork on the body of the suit, you can see it looks like it's got the riveted section where one piece is out to another. Moving down, I will say the jacket and the trousers are a separate piece, so you do get slight rotation, but it's not a massive amount. The belt, as you can see, and then moving down onto the legs, again, just a mixture of the maroon and black, nicely done. The strap work, which doesn't move around. The sort of holster for the billy clubs on the side, which works nicely, although is a little bit tight, I will say, or is on mine. The knee pads feel secure, although I think over time, if you kept bending the suit to the extreme, they might start to peel away. These haven't done yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Moving down to the military style boot, I will say these boots are some of the best boots I've seen, simply because they are like boots that we've seen before on figures like Hawkeye and maybe Barney Ross, but they are two separate pieces. So the foot section and then sort of the ankle padding, as you see, there is a separation, but it always looks like one complete boot. It's a really nice touch because you do get some nice ankle pivot, as you can see there. I'll just move the figure slightly. There you go. look in there, well it's open, but because that's at the back of the pose you don't really see that, but it lets the foot look quite natural, so I do like that about it. I've got turned, like I said, the holster for the billy clubs, sort of strapping on the sides and up through the body. So aesthetically the outfit looks pretty amazing, to be honest. The only reason I've knocked the points down is because it is a little bit too tight. And I mean, from an accuracy point of view, I think when you look at the program, you sort of see movement in his outfit and places where the outfit rocks up. So I'm talking about in the elbows, the knee section, they're a little bit baggier than they are on this. And because they're so tight on this and so fitted, it does hinder the articulation. I do think the body underneath is a fully articulated fucking 500 points of articulation body, but the suit is restrictive in places. I'm talking shoulders, not so much elbows, hips or pelvis area, and knees a little bit. You don't get a really good split out of it, or you can do it, but you're pretty much pulling the suit to its limit. So bear that in mind. Like I said, I really do like the boots, and I really do like the work on the helmet and gloves. So, like I said, the suit point docking is only really down to the restrictions that it has on the body. So for that reason, I'm going to give the outfit a 4 from a possible 5. Moving on to articulation. Show you the pose first. I've got him pretty articulated, but I will say much past that on most of the joints, you will be putting the suit under a lot of stress. So just to talk you through, obviously these billy clubs don't come like this. It's just wire, sort of a thick enough grade wire so it will hold its own weight. Cut it to length, as you can see, and then that billy club section is sort of suspended. So really easy to do. I've done it before on the Ghost Rider figure and a Turtles figure, I think I did it on. I've done it a few times, so it's really easy to do and gives off a really nice effect. Because more so in the cartoons, I think that Daredevil's nunchucks were sort of more extendable, and obviously when he gets his staff or billy club, whatever you want to call it, at the end of the Netflix series, it's now sort of fireable, so he can shoot them to any certain length and then obviously retract it. So I thought that was a nice touch, and I'm a little bit surprised that Hot Toys didn't really include something like that in the set. So that just talks about the pose. Talking about the articulation, the head articulates, or the neck articulates a lower ball joint. I will say the movement is pretty good, although a little stiff. The forward tilt is really good on it. It gives some menacing poses, really good. If you're looking at the figure from below, like such, somebody tell me that don't look beastly, because I can take a photo of that, I'm going to Photoshop that pole out, and you know it's going to look fucking fresh. So there is that. There is articulation in the body, so crunch and sort of back arch, although again it's restricted by the outfit. Same with the shoulders. Quite hard to get the shoulder up to that height because of the plastic on the outer part of the shoulder. So you see the armoured section, so the centre of the screen, it does restrict it a little bit, but if you keep working with it, sort of soften the suit, move it about, do it in bits so you're not ripping your seams, and you can get it quite high. I've seen some reviews and you didn't get it nowhere near as high as that. But you know Uncle Clipper's a pro, so I'll go further than other reviewers will for you, not a problem. The elbow articulation is really good, will get really nice and tight right up to his face, so that is a good touch. The wrists are obviously on ball pegs, and will move quite nicely, although sometimes a little bit restricted by the gauntlet section that is fixed in place. Moving down, the pelvis or the upper leg hip section again is limited because of the suit. They could have put a panel in the lower crutch section so you don't feel like you're ripping your seams, which is the case when you try to do splits with the leg. But as you can see, his left leg I've got up pretty high, probably as high as you want to go, and I could have got both legs up like that, but I thought that was more picturesque to go as it is. Good articulation in the knee, although like I said, keep an eye on the suit because you don't want the knee pad to pop off. The strapping doesn't really get in the way at all. And then moving down to the lower leg, it is on a ankle ball joint, which is nicely done, and the boots are split, so you can see you can get the foot like that
or curl your toes right up like that one. So I do like that about it. I will say, if I were only watching reviews of others, and I'm not bigging myself up here, but a lot of people have sent me messages asking me to review figures because they're not seeing the things that they want to in other people's reviews. That might be the case, I don't know. I'd love to give myself more credit for it, but I don't know. Some people maybe just don't want to push their own figure because they buy them to keep them or whatever, I don't know. But if you do work with it, it will do some really nice poses. And like I said, I have had a flick through some other reviews and nobody else got really extreme with a figure. I did some pictures the other day and actually put them on Facebook and some on Instagram, and I did get a little bit more extreme than that. It will do it, but like I said, just be careful with your suit. The body's good, although undersized, but you know, it's the suit. You don't want to rip the suit up. Right, the downside to the body is the size. I think it should have been a little bit bigger or purpose built for this figure, because I don't feel that is the case. I feel the body inside this is somewhere a little bit smaller than Deadpool, not quite as small as Spider-Man, but it is undersized. If you stood in a museum pose, you do think the head does look too big, and you can't get away from that. If it's something that's going to stop you wanting to buy this figure, then leave the figure alone. But then on flip side, I've seen sort of shots of the Punisher figure, and again, I don't like the body on that because of the sort of the arms on it. I don't think the arms look right, but anyway, I digress. Like I say, if the proportions is something that's going to put you off, leave the figure alone, but it is definitely an issue. It could have done with a squarer shouldered body or a normal sized body, because I think this is a little bit undersized. Articulation wise, to score it, I'm going to give it a 3, because like I say, you have got to really work with it. It's the suit that hinders it, not the body. But like I said, I couldn't give it a flat out 5 out of 5 because it won't do everything. Moving on to extras and accessories. Let's move down, look at the figure. Again, using the 2 billy clubs with the wire that I've put on myself. I am using a flight stand from Hot Toys, but that does not come with a figure. The diorama stand that does come is one of the square ones that we've seen a few times. It has got sort of a textured top, does look quite nice, and the silver Daredevil nameplate. The crutch grab stand, as you can see, and then the wall design sort of diorama background, which is quite a nice touch. I think that could have just been all magnetised together because it is 3 separate parts like a lot of other reviewers have shown. So I don't know, it's a bit of an afterthought to me, but I don't know, it's pretty good. Didn't have to get it, I suppose. Along with that, they did give you the sort of graphic for the backdrop. I've not took that out of the bag because I don't think I'm keeping the figure, so I want the person that receives that to have that in mint condition. But again, didn't have to include it, but they did. I see that they've included that in a lot of the modern figures, but this is the first thing that I've actually seen that's brought one, I think. Moving down, the instruction manual, the separate faceplate. Obviously that's the standard version, and then I've got the battle damage version or the aggressive version on. You get 3 pair of hands. It's a pair of fist, a pair of more relaxed hands, and then a pair of hands for holding the accessories, namely the billy clubs. Set of wrist pegs. You get the sort of the separated staff that looks like a set of nunchucks with a kind of metallic feeling string between, or wire, whatever you want to call it. The fully built billy club that obviously would hold one-handed, and then the 2 smaller where it's broke into half, like I said, and then I've wrapped mine with wire. They're the sections that would fit into the holster on the side of his leg. That is all it brings, and to me that is not a lot. I think they could have put in the separate pieces that would have like the helmet that would match the first version helmet or the Series 1 helmet, whatever you want to call it. They could have put that in, I suppose. They could have put the arm section, the forearm section in, the black sort of wrapped section. I can't display them, obviously, because I ain't got them. So that could be interchangeable. It wouldn't have been too much of a stretch to put them parts in. What they have given you is quite nice, but it's not a lot. Not much more I can really say. Obviously, the diorama would be nice if that's how you want to display it, but I wouldn't, and obviously I haven't in the review, so there's not much more I can say on that. So on the way I've scored it basically is a point for the base and backdrop, a point for the hands and weapons, and a point for the additional faceplate. So I've given it 3 from a possible 5. Do quite like that pose though. Let's get down. Do we get that's where we want to see him from. Rolling on to value, and then I'll sum up and bring the review to an end. I'll tell you the price on this figure because there's no secret in this occasion. I actually paid £238 shipped to the UK with EMS shipping. It was the day after release that I got it sent, so I'm assuming it's the release day stock. So I know you pay a premium for it, and that was the roller coaster that I've been on over the last few years. That kind of brought to an end the reviewing that I were doing sort of on every figure. That's how it got. It's got to the point where sourcing figures just became a bit of a nightmare. There's certain people I won't buy from. Guys I've been using it past, they can get your figures sometimes they can't. I get to a point where I think I don't even want it that much, so why am I messaging you constantly to try and get these figures? A lot of time I get a feeling there's a bit of an opportunistic vibe going on, and by that I mean people have said they've got something for me and they've agreed a price with me, or they've sort of alluded to a price, then when it gets released they realise that because eBay are pushing this price up, the sellers that I've got can push the price up. I don't like that at all because I'm a man of my word and I expect other people to be that way as well. So I actually found this guy, Gary MG. He was actually a friend of mine on Facebook, but had never conversed with him before. So it was Andy, a guy from Rotherham, who is Keyboard Warriors YouTube channel. He told me, try this guy because I think he's got a Daredevil that you might be looking for, so to speak. I do love Daredevil, but I will say I'm not the biggest fan of the Netflix series because it's a very set in real life depiction of Daredevil. I like Daredevil who's pretty much jumping off of rooftops, doing 50 somersaults on his way down, and that sort of comic book vibe, where it might go that way over time, especially now he's got the new staff. But I think to save money and special effects in the Netflix series, they've made it dark and gritty and based in reality, which I don't know if I like. I like Daredevil, the character, the comic books. He is my favourite superhero, to be honest. But like I said, I think the Netflix series is only okay. It's not amazing. So because of it was Daredevil, I wanted it. But because it was from Netflix, there were part of me thinking, I can leave it if I want. But like I said, one came available. I got the money and I thought, right, I'll get it. Now I've got it, am I going to keep it? I don't know. Probably not, in all honesty, because I don't have a love for Hot Toys that I used to have. People know that anyway. But I thought, I've been asked that many times to do this review. I've pretty much dragged my arse to get this one up. And I don't even get a feeling it's going to turn out that good. But I don't know. You can let me know that. So like I said, £238 shipped. That's way over the odds. I can remember Hot Toys when you were paying about 100 quid a piece for them. Are they worth these prices that we're getting them from now? Definitely not. We all know they're not, but people still keep buying them. Again, when I keep getting asked when I'm going to review, when I'm coming back, blah, 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 people don't seem to factor in the cost of these figures and how much pain in arse it is to get them, particularly early enough to bother even reviewing them. If I'd bought this from a UK seller, I'd be waiting probably another 2 months for it. By then, nobody even wants to see it review no more. So it was just so refreshing to step off that YouTube merry-go-round and not have to worry about keeping up with guys that are doing it early now. And I noticed there's a few popping up, possibly because I'm not around no more. I think Dean Knight still jumps on most figures. A guy called I Am Toys, I think I've seen. A guy called John Deeg, and fair play to them. They're only doing what I was doing for years and years and years. If they want to take it over, then you know what I mean? I'm not going to stand in nobody's way or try and keep competing because I don't love the figures no more. That's the honest truth for it. This one's nice. Is it amazing? No. It's not a patch on something like the BVS Batman, in all honesty. But even that, to say it's an awesome figure, I've modded fuck out it. So, like I said, I feel very blasé towards them. I don't love them like I used to. But anyway, I don't want to get off and make this fucking review a total downer. Is it worth picking up? It's worth picking up if you can look past the sort of proportional problems it's got. The sort of shoulder to head ratio. if you can get past that and you do love the character, then pick it up. But I would certainly say if you can hold out and try and pay less than 200 quid for it, then you would have a nice figure at a decent value. At the price I paid, I've now got to try and sell it at that price to make this a free review to me. Whether I do that or not, I don't know. But the value that I paid, I'm only going to give it a 2 out of a possible 5 because I think I paid way over odds. And I'm not blaming seller for that because obviously he pays a certain price for it and he's then got to make his money back off me. So I'm not slagging the seller off, it's just how the game's gone. To sum it up, the figure has got 20 from a possible 30. That's another review done. If you've enjoyed it, please let me know. Like I said at the beginning, please like, comment and subscribe. Press the bell if you've already subscribed so you do interact with my channel, which would really help me. Because on top of all this, when I keep getting asked to carry on reviewing, I think, I used to make nearly £200 a month in AdSense revenue. Now I make about fucking 35 quid. It hardly pays my fucking phone bill. So that's another reason why I think it's a good time to back away from YouTube, because YouTube ain't doing its reviewers no favours unless they're willing to fucking turn the flat caps over and start busking or adding Patreon accounts, and I'm very reluctant to do that. But anyway, it's the Clipper King, and I'm out of here.